users, activities, calendars, price book, coaching, goal, macros, metrics, and streaming channel. These are the only places where your OWD works. Now, write down. There are five accesses. Number one, private. Whenever I said private, whose is his. If a doctor creates a record, the neighbor doctor cannot see. A receptionist creates a record, only receptionist can see, no one else can see. Whose is his is, called as private. Public, read only, right? That means whoever is the owner, he can do all the function, but others can only see. They can't edit it, they can't delete it, they can't modify it, right? Called as public, read only. Next, third, public read write. That means you can not only read, you can edit it. Read write, you can see that, right? Next, the public read write transfer. You can not only read, write, you can transfer a record created by someone else, you can transfer to your name, or you can transfer to someone else, right? Ownership can be transferred immediately, right? If you have lead, if I give you public read, write, transfer, if these I give you, then in that case, right, this happens. That's good, right? The last one is called control by parent, where it will be controlled by your parent. Lead doesn't have any parent. Remember that. Lead is a, if you remember the days, previous classes, lead is the data entry point for CRM. This is the place where you enter all customer information. An end user, whoever customer walks in, you don't create accounts or contact. You directly create first lead. Lead is a collection of suspect and prospect. And hence, lead doesn't have any parent to control. It is a parent by itself. So that's the reason you don't have a parent control option here. Same way, account. Account you can make private, public read, public write. Same way, if you go to the cases, you can say private, whose case, his case. Public read only. If you create the case, others employees can see the case, but cannot delete the case or cannot modify the case. Read write. So other employees can also attend the case calls and start helping the customer. They can also go and close the case. They can put some comments in the case because you have a read write. Public read write transfer. I am the owner. I'm not there for 2 days. Customer calls back. Another service agent picks up the call. He sees that already a case is booked 2 days back by Rupam, but Rupam is not in the office. He immediately transfers the case from Rupam name to his name because as he's working. That's called as public read write transfer. All these are applicable irrespective of profile. However, it is controlled by the profile, right? If you remember that in the profile, we have tab off, on, hidden, right? We can have a field level access and everything, right? So all these are controlled by your profile. And if a profile doesn't have any definition given, then the system will pick up from OWD. Remember that. Whenever you change some rule in OWD, right? Public read write transfer, I changed it. Same way for any, let's take for campaign, I said that public read write full access. That is also equal to public read write transfer, right? Activities, I'll say that control the parent. So if activity is created in opportunity, it will be controlled by the opportunity. If an activity is created in case, it will be controlled by the case. I go ahead, save, it will give me a warning, or on the top it will give me information saying that the rule might take longer than expected and an email will be sent once this is done, right? You can see that it's saying an organization-wide default has been initiated by Rupam Chakravarti on this time. You can't submit any changes prior to this completion of this operation, right? Rupam Chakravarti will receive an email when operation finishes. Now the system is running some rules, right? Earlier there might be sharing of record was there. Now I have changed a few things. I made the lead what that it was earlier public read write. Now I made it to public read write transfer. That means every employee of my company now they can transfer the leads from others to themselves to others. So the system is now running the rules. After the rule is completed, system will send me an email to my registered email. All the records now been accessible. Any user who logs in now, right, and open an lead, he would be not only able to transfer someone's lead to his name, others can also take your lead to their name. So a cross functionality I've just created. This is called as OWD, also called as sharing settings. This is an organization-wide default. It's a default access to all end users. Clear now what I'm saying? Anyone has any doubt here? Any doubt? Okay. If no, then I'll take the silence as no. Let's go to the next one. Field accessibility. This we already did long back when we went to the profile. We did this class. So let's see that. Again, I'm going to manage users. I click on profile. If you remember that, right? I created a profile called as super user 999. I'm going there. This is the profile that I created. I click on the profile. My profile is opening up now. I scroll down, right? If you remember that, there was a field level security was there. If you remember that, I clicked on account and then I made some field invisible. Whoever has super user 999, I don't want him to see the fax number. You see that? Fax number is not checked, visible, false. Read only, false. Industry, only visible, read only, right? Okay, read only. So it's a read only now, right? So visible will be there and he can only read. He cannot write because the checkbox is saying read only. Same way, any person who has a profile called as super user 999 going forward will not be able to see the fax number. When he opens the account, the fax number field will be disabled. You can see that it's not checked. Visible, no. Read only, no. So that means when you go back to your accounts, this one, right? If somebody clicks on new account, they will not be able to see the fax field, right? You have a fax field here. You can see that the one which I have just highlighted, you'll not be able to see. I'm able to see because I'm an administrator, but any person who is given that, even if I'm removed from the administration and I'm giving super user 999, I'd not be able to see the fax field, right? The same thing is been controlled from here. I click on setup. I scroll down to security controls. I click on field accessibility. Same feature, account. You want to see by role, you want to see by field. There are two options, by profile, by field. I want to see by field. Which field? I want to see the fax field. In the account, I'm taking fax field. System will show, see that who are the people who can see, right? So you can see that super user 999, you can see that it's showing hidden. See, super user 999, it's showing was hidden because we have just hidden it. Everyone can see fax field except whoever is given a role profile called as super user 999. I want to, right? That's good. I want to change it from a hidden, right? I change it to fax field. I said no, visible, right? Okay. So click on save. Now super user 999 has a visibility. So that it is super user 999 editable. That means he can not only see, he can edit. Same way, I can go by something called as industry. I'm going by a field called as industry, right? Let's see, industry, okay, industry. So I gave editable might be there, so that's the reason it's visible. I want that industry should not be visible. So I click on super user 999, editable one, I click on it, automatically opens up a window, I say not visible. I click on save. Now industry will not be visible and facts will be visible. From where I did? I did from field visibility or accessibility. You can select by field. The second option is that you can build by profile. You can see, right, which profile. I want to see all the fields of account object. I want to see whether the super user 999 can see which one. Account source hidden, clean status hidden. Oh man, DNB company hidden, data.com hidden, fax number hidden, right? Industry hidden, fax is editable, right? You can see that all these are hidden, editable, hidden, type. This is called, all these are hidden. So now you can go ahead and you can change it. Any given time you can say that no, I want this to be changed. Read only to be changed. I want this industry to be changed. Click on it. It will take you to the same screen. Just say that visible, check it. Click on save. Automatically a particular, it's same what you did from the profile. It is same but in another format it's giving here called as fields accessibility. Right? Any doubt? Any clear? Anything that you'd like to know? Next, password policy. If you remember that, we did the same thing in the profile also. When does a password expires? Right? 90 days. When does the password, how much password you want to remember? We did the same thing in your profile. What is the maximum length of a password? 8 character, 12 character? No, I want 12 character. What is the password should contain? I want a password should be a mix of numbers, uppercase, lowercase, right? Can a hint contain the password? No. What is your nickname? Again, that should not contain the same password. How many login attempts wrong password attempts you can make? 5 attempts. After you make 5 incorrect attempts to log in the Salesforce with a wrong password, what you want the system to do? Lock it for 15 minutes, lock it for 60 minutes. 60 minutes, you cannot log into Salesforce again. Obscure secret password for reset. Tomorrow, if you want to change the password, new password, old password, new password, new password, then it will ask you, please give me the security or secret answer. What is your pet name? Which city you are born? So not only it will ask you old password, it will also ask you the secret question. 2-level authentication if you check this box. No. Once a password is changed, in the next 24 hours, you cannot change the password. That's called as minimum 1-day security, right? Whenever, if somebody does forget the password or make a 10 login attempts incorrect, what message you want to display? So you can write that, sorry, you are jacked off. Now you can give a link. Please click here to raise a trouble ticket. That is your help link. So if you give a Facebook link, system will divert you to the Facebook, right? Or you give your company a trouble ticket link, then system will divert you to that particular link, right? That's it. We'll talk about the API usage later. That's called password policies. Same way, next one called session settings. Session settings are nothing but, as I told you, whenever you keep a session idle, you open the Salesforce, you go to Hyderabad house for a biryani, for example. You come after 3 hours. Automatically, Salesforce will log you off because timeout is how much? 2 hours, right? Force logout session timeout. As soon as the timeout is over, it will not even ask you. It will forcefully log out you. I'll say no. I want a pop-up. You have exceeded 2 hours. System will log off. Yes or no. One pop-up will be there. If you say no, it will stay on the screen. But I don't want that to happen. I'll say that forcefully. Do you want disable session timeout warning pop-up? So as your session time up is over, system will generate a pop-up. Do you want to disable those pop-up? No, I want that pop-up should be there, right? What are the things you want to do? Suppose if it kept idle and the end user goes to Hyderabad house for having a biryani, after 3 hours he comes back. If you check this option, log the session from this IP address, he will not be able to log in from that same system again because the IP address will be blocked by the system. So it has to be released. Where to release? I'll show you. So now if you check this box, from this particular IP address 10.10.1.169, for example, you may not be logged into Salesforce again. It is locked, right? Lock the session in which they are listed for the first used. Whichever session you are in, it will lock those session, right? Forcefully relog in after as a user. So again, it will ask you for a relogin, right? Release require HTTP attributes only, right? So that means, right, these are some things are technical one which you will not understand, but still, right, all your HTTP, HTTPS, if you go to the banking website, you see that HTTPS secure, right? Use post request for cross domain sessions. If you are using any type of cross domain, that means you developed one application and you linked with Salesforce. From a Salesforce, you log into that particular application. It'll also log that particular application also, if you check this, right? Requires HTTP only attribute, right? That means all your secure attributes will be locked. Only HTTP attributes will be available, right? We'll see this as we go inside. What do you mean by that, right? So login cage, as soon as you open salesforce.com, you see that your username is automatically getting populated, auto-populated, not the password. So your username would be stored in a cache memory, right? Or a temporary memory, or whatever you say. So automatically you need not to type rupam@rtpl.com, RU, and as soon as you type RU, system will suggest you Rupam and you select it, then type the password. It will not save the password at any cost. You have to retype the password if you save this, right? Next, how do you want your identity to be confirmed? All the logins that you do with external to the system with the API, which we'll see, right? Any type of, if you change your IP address, if you see that, if you're logging from home, the same Salesforce, when you log in from office, it will ask you for activation. Activation could be sent to your mobile phone. If you, it's by default check, but I didn't give a mobile phone, so it will not send. Same way, you have something called as clickjack protection. Now, I want you to do a research on clickjack and lowjack. Write down this. Clickjack and lowjack, right? Clickjack and lowjack. Do a research. Try to find out in a Google what these are, right? So this is a type of security, right? It's a data theft securities. So Salesforce has a clickjack and clickjack protection for all your setups, your Visual Force, your all the data that moves within the Salesforce has been protected by a clickjack protection. So if somebody cannot just create a connection and try to hack the data, they can't do that. Salesforce is very secure. You will never hear that somebody has hacked in the customer data or stolen the customer data from Salesforce. That is the reason today, bank like Wells Fargo, right? United Banks, okay, let's take a Wells Fargo. The big bank of the world, one of the biggest bank of the world called Wells Fargo is with Salesforce. So don't think that banking industry cannot does not include Salesforce or implement Salesforce. Example is Wells Fargo. They are with Salesforce today, right? Next, these are all your protection. You might not be able to understand cross-site request forgery. So by this you can understand itself that if somebody does any forge and try to get a data, all are being protected at the back end. You just need to check here, and you can't uncheck it also. You can see that these are forcefully. So 100% you have to secure your system. So even if you want, no, I don't want any security, system will say no, you should have, and it is must, right? Next, same way, what is the password policies you want to follow? 1 password factor, 2 password factor. Remember this, I'll come to this page, I'll come to this concept later. 2-factor authentication, right? Remember that currently our Salesforce is configured to 2-factor authentication, right? What do you mean by that? Let's understand. Okay, let's complete it now itself. Suppose you have some problem in Salesforce, right? You raise a trouble ticket saying that not able to access or not able to see, or data is visible incorrect, right? Automatically after you raise the ticket, your trouble or help desk will contact you saying that, hey Rupam, what happened? I'll say that my data are shown incorrect. Which data? So you'll say, give an example of a customer. When I go to accounts, let's take example of this HCL customer. I see that the phone number field is showing fax number, fax is showing phone number. I see the address is all, zigzag. He'll say, okay. He will log in and he sees that it's correct. He said, in my screen it's correct. In your screen it's wrong. Oh, what's the reason? Don't know. So we need to investigate. So I'll just say that, can you please share your screen and can you please share me your login? I want to test your login now. What will you do? Will you share your password? No, not at all. Now there comes the two authentication factor login. That means you go to my settings, you click on your name, click on my settings, click on personal, you go to an option called as grant account access, login access. I click on this option and I say that, right, grant, my username is rupam@rtpl. I want to grant my company administrator 1-day access. I want to grant Salesforce administrator 1-day access. That means he will be using this username, rupam@rtpl.com, and he will be using his password. That means now your account has two passwords. One is the password that you know, and it will be also linked to the password, the Salesforce administrator, his password. So he'll be using your login ID and his password as soon as I click on save. See, changed. Your company administrator has 1-day access. For the next 24 hours, he can log in behalf of you. You have not shared the password, only the username. And he can use his password to log in, and that factor is called as two password authentication, two-factor passwords. Setup, right? Security controls under, right, password policies. Sorry, not password policies. It is under the session settings, right? You scroll down, you have two-factor password. So, no, I don't want that. I want only one password to be there. Then you can do this and you can remove it. Now the system will, your username, your password. That's it. One username, one password. But when I say two factors, your username, now two password. One is your password is also valid. His password is also valid for a single username. It can be shared. You cannot do this with any other user. You can do only with a company administrator, or you can do this only with your Salesforce administrator. Remember that. Only with a Salesforce administrator or your company administrator you can do that, and it has been controlled from here, called as two-factor authentication. Right? That's it. Whenever somebody clicks on logout, which logout page you want to take. So after the class is over, I click on my name, I click on logout, and it brings you to Salesforce screen. No, I want the system to take me to Facebook screen. So you can put www.facebook here, click on save. Every time you click on sign out, system will take you to the Facebook page. Any doubt till here? These all are one-time setting, and you will not do again and again. These are done at the deployment stage itself. In the development project, these are all one-time work. Later, it's a maintenance work. So now we have session settings done. Right? Any doubt? Okay. Few things I'll teach you later on this, because I know that it requires a technicality you'll not understand. Right? Now, next, let's go to activation. Activation is nothing but which are the IP address which are authenticated by the system. You can see that I have logged in. I see that Bhuvana has logged in from this IP address, this IP address, this IP address. I see that Vamshi also logged in from 182.68.38.178. Now I say remove. Next time when Vamshi again log in from this particular system, system will ask for authentication code. That is nothing but, once again, the verification code will be sent to your email address, and if it's correct, then it will be logged in. Same way, you can see that Bhuvana has been logging with so many IP addresses, maybe one time from her office, one time from her home, one time from her dongle or something. I can see that the different IP address coming up. So I really doubt all these IP address. I can remove all. Doesn't mean that it will remove Bhuvana from the system. She'll be able to log in again tomorrow. But as soon as she uses a username and password, system will say that, please enter the verification code. Then she has to access her email, or on the mobile phone, verification email comes. She has to put the verification email here, and once again it will be. So these are the activated one. Same way you can see that, what type of browser Bhuvana is using. Vamshi is using Mozilla 5. I'm using Mozilla 5, right? Bhuvana is using some Apple notebook. I don't know, she might be using Apple notebook, or from a mobile phone she was trying to access. I can see from here Mac operating system, I see Macintosh, I see Apple WebKit. So maybe she tried to log in from, not from a laptop device, from some other device, right? Or not from a Mozilla Firefox, she might have tried to log in with someone. I see that this browser I doubt. I really doubt whether this browser is suspicious browser. So, right, it's a miscellaneous browser which might be stealing away the information. I click on remove. Next time when Bhuvana logs in, again it will ask you for activation. All these are done from a place called as activations. Next, session management, right? If you go to the session management, you see that what are the sessions, how many sessions you are opening. All these are visible. If you right click, which are the sessions Bhuvana has opened, which date, right? Now I have opened a session. This is one session running, and you can see that this will show me the date, which date I am logged in, say 5th. Today's how many sessions I have opened. I might have gone to 2-3 sessions. System is taking a note of it. This is the parent session, if I'm not wrong, which is the current I am in now. Whatever you are able to see, this is one session, and it is here. When I right click and I open one more session, that is a second session created. So that 2 sessions are getting created. So system will take a note of it. Oh, how many sessions you are creating. All these, you can see that no, I don't want Rupam to open 2 sessions. Click on remove. Immediately if you go to this session and you click something, it will say log off. It will log you off. You are controlling the sessions from here. Your work, administrator. Clear now what I'm saying? Any given time, I'm scrolling down to the next. Any given time you want to expire the password. I want to expire all company, everyone's password. If there are 1,000 users, all the 1,000 users password can be expired. Next time any user logs in, system will say that, sorry, administrator has expired your password. Please enter a new password and log in again. So expire password. If you want to reset one particular user password, you go to manage user, you click on users, on the top you have reset, you have a reset password. I want to reset Bhuvana's passwords. Then I'll say that I'll select Bhuvaneshwari and I'll select reset password. Automatically she will get an email stating that her old password is now reset to a new one. That's done from here. Right? Company profile, sorry, security controls, right? We have seen something called as, right, preset all password. Next, delegated administration. Now, in a company, in a big company where you have 1,000 users, for example, you might have 2 to 3 administrators. For everything, people will come to you. For creation of a role, they will come to you. For if somebody wants an access to something, they will come to you, right? For every small thing, big thing, they will come to you. And it is getting very difficult for you to control this request. In a day, you are getting 30 to 40 small requests, which are very small. But because of time constraint, you're not able to follow up. What will you do now? You are going to now distribute your power to some users. I'll say that if you want access to one particular object, don't come to me, right? Even though I'm an administrator, but this can be also done by your area manager. Or please reach out to your branch manager. He will grant you the access. A new user login has to be created. then you can say that do not come to me. Go to your branch manager. If a person is joining in Hyderabad branch, contact your branch manager. They should be able to give you access to the Salesforce. What I'm doing now, I'm giving some administrative power to person or to a profile, to a role. I'm giving it to a role. Anyone who is a branch manager south has an access to add an user. So I am delegating my powers to people. And this delegation is called delegated administrators. So they are not full-fledged administrators. They can do certain tasks of an administrator so that the company administrator has a less burden. You can start creating a group here, delegated group. I click on new, right? I give delegated ADMIN, delegated admin managers, 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 delegated admin managers, right? So I click on OK. Now a delegated administrator profile is created. Next, user administration. Who are the people who can do user administration? I click on add, and then I say that, right, roles. Whoever has a manager south or branch manager Hyderabad, if you see that this is what we created. So I'll say that whoever has a zonal manager south, next zonal managers east. So if somebody is joining in eastern part of the country, you need not to come to me for getting access to Salesforce. You can contact your zonal managers, because now we have given that power of adding a user administration, complete password reset, adding user, creation of role, this part, user, manage user, complete user administration is now given to whom? To the zonal managers. So they can also add people, they can also delete people, they can also activate people, deactivate people, they can create permission sets, they can create profile. So for all these things, you need not to contact administrator. We have delegated the power to zonal manager. Same way, profiles. Who can create profiles? Who can do all these things? I'll say, okay, it will also be given to a people. We will also give this to whom? So assign. So I'll say that any person, right? All the super user 999, any person who has a super user can going forward, can go ahead and, start giving profile, editing profile. They can do that the way we did it. I'm giving to all person super user, or I can create any other profile and I can give the right to them. Same way, exceptions. Who can create exceptions? So I click on edit and I say that, right, special project, this is the exception. We created an exception. So this exceptions can be handled by these people, zonal managers, super user 999, right? Who can create public group, assignable public groups? We created a public group called as level 1 Hyderabad. I'm adding it. Everything I'm adding it. These are the people who can now start giving administration. Custom object administration, if you have created any type of custom objects, we didn't do that. So any type of custom objects future we create, I can say that any person, we don't have any object now. So that's the reason I can't give. So now I click on cancel. Oh, did it cancel everything? No, that's good. Now you can see that some powers, not all, only few powers I have distributed across the people so that my burden decreases. This is called as delegated administration or delegated administrator. Whoever is a zonal manager now, he's also an administrator, not full, half. We call them as delegated administrators. Clear now, guys? Got it?